was in my house.
Ministry's good work. You wouldn't get it.
I used to help out at the Three Rooms when I was younger.
Pushing a plough is good and honest work. I shall not mind.
Oh, I don't think anyone in the ministry works a day in their life.
I have a terrible nurse where I can't use tools or do work of any kind.
If I thought I could complete this sermon, I'd open my own pub in Hogsmeade Village. Or Central. I'd rather be the one bringing the fire with even more in it.
How is standing behind a till counting cloths and sickles considered work? They won't take kindly to a pack like the Vernon at the Hogshead.
Might be about time to test your old crack in the Hogshead.
bit of Christmas. Oh, well, mind you, there's no one.
I'm not supposed to be using a blessing curse in the house when necessary.
by that classic portrait of her Anne Pratt. I had plenty of opportunity to pursue any work I wanted. Brain, that's what the teachers would say. Oh, hard work and good luck go hand in hand. And the odd child, too.
Thank you. Never say
Imagine our surprise when the youngest was put into Ravenclaw's bed. Still, she has always been quite becoming over the last time. And she's quite useful when you have a question.
It's not one thing, it's the other.
I do trust Augustus Hill's eye when it comes to fashion. True. But I do wonder if he doesn't try to own his side. I left Gladrags last week with Paul Glads, and I invested for 3 pounds. Glads are living up to me, not one of those provincial hamlets. That rivalry between Upper and Lower Hogsmeade is the same as the team. There's fun.
I wouldn't mind a job at that Alchemy Central Agent. Always been a little
I wouldn't
potions
feel
in my
right
life.
asking an elf to be
Supernatural fiction.
Nothing really goes by. For years, my mother conjured anything my daughter wanted. The way she did, as a bit of a rule.
Thomas Brown is a marvel, I tell you. I was looking for an impossible to find book on werewolves. This is why. And he found a copy for me before the next conference. Scared?
For all the folks, most muggles I've met seem quite pleasant. It's so tiring to just try and constant battle with other beings.
I met a girl once. Quite an inferior. Pretty good.
I'm not supposed to use other things. A few more house elves in
Ellie Peck certainly knows her beats. Stop me from trying to buy neutral fur when she knew that what I needed was neutral fur.
talented aura now got into the man in green box since his bricks were laid.
I met a girl once. Not saying I don't cast the odd cleaning spell when no one
Can't get my children to listen to them, let alone one. I do enjoy magic neat. Never find much to buy, but Timothy Female is simply charming.
We treated our house elf quite well. She had her own priestess. They were the fellow, but you could still see when they were her soul. Those that go to Alkeban never had a chance in the first place.
How is standing behind a till counting knuts and sickles considered work?
Only if I could invent a new potion, something indispensable. I'd be such a not to worry. Spellcraft, some of the new students on Goblin Rebellion.
One thing for certain, you can't blame the students for leaving the castle at every opportunity. And the headmaster is a cantankerous chap.
I can almost always spot a student who's just come from history of magic. It's as though Professor Bill uses the life out of them with his droning monologues on Goblin Rebellion.
You can stop a thief in their tracks with Superfly. Or just run, of course.
Mine's going to stick their hands in and visit Dog Reed and Dad's house. I'm going to be upset.
Those of us who were raised properly can pick up after ourselves. We don't need a house elf to do it. Things you lot go on about your children makes me grateful for my loyal staff. I'm forever at
Can't imagine how I felt as a boy if my headmaster cancelled Quidditch.
Then find myself still there. I'm forever at protecting away the Rona. I'm not even said it. Then I find myself still there. I was late protecting away the Rona. No,
That's because you want to do
I don't think anyone has done this work a day in their life. I will say that I was relieved to have our
Much
family
as
up
they
about
do,
when I
I'm
was
a bit
younger.
sad my last one
From having to clear the doxy from the curtains each spring.
An honest day's work for an honest
Next thing you know, it's unforgivable curses.
more powerful than the head. Goes with a love.
My appearance of beauty is strong. I do not really
Astonishing, really.
when I was
Apart from those lucky enough to have a witch or wizard in the family, the modern world has never truly realized the uniqueness
my mother conjured anything my daughter wanted. She did. Not a fan of the hot setting myself. Shady lot making badness at times. Rewind.
Whenever I'm feeling out of sorts, the first person I see is Percival Pippin.
It's no wonder parents are exhausted all the time. I shall pour myself a fire whiskey the minute I get home and bask in the glorious peace of a childless
I think we
abode.
can all agree that what mothers lack in magical ability, they make up for in kids. Oh,
Well, I could just chuck the cannons a thing or two about proper chasing form.
Carts around the place. Nearly volunteered for a time I really wanted.
now the day goes by, I don't do something I didn't learn at Hogwarts.
Thank goodness the professor was in
Being an officer of the law in a quiet village like Hogsmeade
voice
is a
of
pleasant
reason
job,
under
I'd
the reign
say.
of that clueless
Nice
headmaster.
story.
And the first I used to help out at the three groups when I was
Wandering
younger.
near the graveyard the other day. Very strange.
I dare say the most challenging about those is its distinct lack of models. Oh, don't know it. Oh, right.
Working on lots of stuff.
The Hermione Professor of Hogwarts could charm the scales of a dragon. I wonder what the favourite flower is.
Practices of the dark arts shall stick to the art when it comes to fashion.
The young today aren't willing to put in the work to learn magic. Too busy with sizzling whiskeys, if you ask me.
I think I have a winning chance.
The friendliest establishment in our village is the Hogsmeade Inn. No one's putting on airs and graces or a pint of butterbeer.
What I didn't give for a
Not
spell.
like they do
My
at the
mother
Three
and often
Broomsticks.
visiting every week. Oh, and the sweet she brings. It's a wonder they have a tooth left in their head.
My mother used to say I was lazy, wouldn't pick up my phone instead.
About most
Her
of the
own
time.
fault for keeping away.
Ever activating the trace of mind. Can't get my children to lift a finger, let alone a wand.
The minute of magic didn't get where it is.
Never can decide when to go for butterbeer, the Hog's Head, or the Three Broomsticks. Both have their charms, to be sure.
Unicorn blood will keep you alive, so, but at what cost?
I left Black Rose last week with the boarding house. My front page was not unlimited compliment. Those who go to Azkaban never had a chance in the first place. I so enjoy chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'm only curious when you know Alhambra. I was taught that if you put in a good effort, you'll reap the rewards. It's as though Professor B drains the life out of them with his droning monologues on goblin rebellion. Not saying I don't cast the odd cleaning spell when no one's looking. Hasn't been anyone as bad as Barnabas Bedroll in a while, has there? Hitting a little white ball and says that make Emmerich the evil look like pure
Very nice.
Did you know they call muggles no magic and no magic? Just saying it out loud tickles me.
I know someone who's worked with clean like that. Never had to hire a crewmate or could have done it in his life. I wouldn't trade my wand for it.
Should be hearing back soon about the position that opened up at the ministry. So I've had to inquire last time.
I'm not sure muggles appreciate how simple their lives are. Ironic, really. Wonder if Augustus knows his world will sweep on his
Know
water.
of wizard
To help
friends.
out at the Three
They'll be
Broomsticks
asking for
when I was
favours around the
younger.
clock.
Broomsticks usually wins out.
Not a day goes by I don't use something I didn't learn at Hogwarts.
Toadstool tales always made me wretch as a child.
Hasn't been anyone as bad as Barnabas Bedroll in a while, has there?
Get the platform 9 3/4. The Canary Muggle seems to notice.
The black hands should smell the finding
Is the new reversal hex really so sinister?
Never trust a man who says something smart. That's what my mother always said.
I can always rely on my betrothed to keep me safe.
I sometimes stop at the Madam Snellings just to see how calliope has done her hair that day. She's brilliantly creative, though possibly somewhat impractical. No one can try the hairstyle like me. Smooth as a moonshine.
I dread the day muggles know of wizard kind. They'll be asking for favors
Imagine how muggles get by without magic. The pair of save me with your spin glass for my careless hands.
If it thinks it's got half a chance, a werewolf would be only like those muscles to the not one of those provincial hamlets.
That rivalry between upper and lower. I must say, I admire
I question anyone teaching defense against dark arts. Why take such an interest?
Wizards socializing together makes a nice change.
I try not to judge what others do in their own homes. One never knows how slovenly another's family may be.
Not a fan of the Hogsmeade Village. I should have watched that Abbey.
Hogsmeade does have charming shops. I was simply saying before that I prefer Diagon Alley on account of the wider selection of merchandise.
Yeah, pub in Hogsmeade. Second thought, I'd rather be the one drinking the fire whiskey than pouring it.
I honestly don't know how two herbology shops can prospect in one village. People must be brewing an inordinate amount of potions.
I did Professor Weasley in Hogwarts. She was stopping by Tony's as well.
Sleeping draft for me. Proper day's work, nice sleep like a baby moon calf.
We treated our house quite well. She had her own toasters. They were stellar, but you could still see they were her very own.
No need to worry about anyone ever activating the trait at my house. Can't get my children to lift a finger, let alone one. Never find much to
For all the talk, most muggles I've met seem quite pleasant. Yet so tiring with the kind constant battle with other
House
things.
elves are wizardkind's best friend. Always have been.
Have you seen this season cats
I wouldn't trade my one for something ever
I think I might have to get one of each.
I wish I paid more attention when I was at Hogwarts.
talking about Professor Rowland's studio. That young officer do have a bad rap.
Don't know when students began arriving by flying carriage to Hogwarts, but after the dragon attack, graduated will stick to boats and trains.
Corona, so the three broomsticks usually wins out.
Ah, the secret is do the hard work first, and let the easy bits take care of themselves.
The Minister of Magic didn't get where he is by sitting on his hands.
I adore living in Hogsmeade. For a lark, I sometimes row about the Black Lake. See if I can spot the elusive giant squid.
I'd say the new Hogwarts caretaker certainly thinks highly of himself. Also thinks to enjoy more than a dram of fire.
Did you know that Ethel Wigley only uses fallen feathers in her quilts? That's a conscientious and kind woman if ever I met one.
I so enjoy chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with Muggle Christmas carols. Perhaps it's the integrated language that fascinates him, or the melodious diz. Those of us who are raised properly can pick up after ourselves. We don't need a house elf to do it.
If you work all day with your hands, you're no better than a model.
And that's what the authorities are for, they say.
His oldest girl is taken to howling at the moon at night. She insists it's a stage girl.
Relief washes over me the moment I return from London. Being amongst so many muggles is exhausting.
Never trust a man who looks in his heart.
That's what my mother always said.
Whatever may be, I console myself knowing that some soul out there has a more unfavourable lot in life.
Horrible, the things I've heard mothers do to women who think are witches. Only a hairy-hearted sod would cast a sentiment on a tree. I've been chatting to Thomas Brown, but I'll never understand his fixation with Muggle Christmas carols. Perhaps it's the integrated language that fascinates him, or the melodious diz.
Find myself scurrying home at night these days. Can't be too careful.
I'm not above using a blasting curse in the house when necessary.
Oh, Falco Spanning's been minister for so long, I don't remember who came before him.
Away from today's young, I say.
Santos have never had witches so good kind, have they?
That young Otto Dibble at Gladrax does seem nervous. Helpful, mind you, but perhaps still hasn't quite found his stride. Just a crowd may not keep a tiny town. They'll carry your secrets to the green.
Not enough reflection on
When I need to replenish my herbology supplies, I go to Timothy Teasdale at the Magic Meat. Easier on my nerves than dogweed and death capture. Less poison and cheese spice.
I'm more than a dram of fire.
the way my children play at music, I sometimes hope they all turn out to be squids for their safety and mine.
The man that hundreds of us have run at the wall of timber for us to get the platform seems to know.
Nothing warms the body like incendio. That's what my mother used to say.
I'm more than a dram of fire.
Try to have a chat with Ellie Peck.
Since I've been up at the castle myself. It'd be lovely to visit Hogwarts again.
I get her to stop
But not
talking
while I
about
have that old
Jesus and
curmudgeon
Garrett.
as headmaster.
Even with magic. Take the super cool competitions gathering. When am I getting ready with the referee of the professional quidditch matches?
Is it my like Quidditch?
I should think the house elf doesn't work as hard as me.
I
And sometimes I
work
have to
hard
wonder
and don't be
for
afraid to
what.
fail. That is the path of a leader. Take a holiday from one.
I don't want to have to wonder not about the dark art. Pushing the boundaries. Beetle the Bard is a bit too hairy-hearted for my taste.
They don't seem to get along well, do they? Not like wizard kind. Point of toil can be done with magic. I told my nieces I'd leave my grandmother's silver cauldron to whichever one of them looked after me in my old age.
It's a wonder
They've been taking and checking in on me weekly, which is very nice.
Sometimes I wonder if we really need to step into secrecy. I'd be nice to reach out to the muggles for a change. Think of the good we could do as well.
It's
I leave my grandmother's silver cauldron, whichever one of them looked after me in my old age. Mr. Ollivander seems to spend more time cleaning up his shop from Eric's modern parts than actually selling the things.
I have a wand.
Not enough reflection on the past. Not enough reflection on the world. The world around
For you, my mother couldn't do anything my daughter wanted. She did. As a bit of a rude awakening on her first day at Hogwarts. No one put my mind to it. The pair will save me more broken glasses than I care to carry across me.
When you find a good opportunity, it's wise to seize it with both hands.
Oh, fabulous. Been in for so long, I don't remember who came before him.
The Quidditch cancelled at Hogwarts this year. Might not make the most of it.
Thank goodness.
Flying about the vault, tossing a quaffle back and forth. But I
She was a reign of that clueless headmaster. They're lucky to have her. First they teach you to think. Next thing you know, it's unforgivable classic. My appearance of maybe assistant.
My advice when dealing with untoward matters is impertinent, impertinent.
I'm trying to figure anything. I'll put my mind to it.
Hollywood person wants keeping away from today's young, I'd say. But like this day goes by, I wish I could better attention in defense against the dark arts. The world needs talented authors now more than ever.
what breeds successful young witches and wizards is that blood guilt.
I think it's the armchair and the secret family recipe.
Of magic.
Appreciate the ready-made.
August was here last week. Just the other day, I heard him talking along about a hat that was a more certainly brought out all of the worst things.
My parents finally installed the fireplace. I was thrilled, except now that they're connected to the Blue Network, I'm expected to bring the children for dinner every summer. I wouldn't mind, but it's all roasted.
That's what a failure is a good thing. However, that's
I also love when you talking about the couple rolling very clever.
my evidence on the mistake that was means I will say that I was willing to have but I told him that make sure you not so upset if I'm not
Playing the dog seat from the church in the East Spring.
Could have sworn I saw one of the Hogwarts ghosts wandering near the graveyard the other day. Very strange.
Sentinels have never had issues for wizard kind, have they? But then, it's no wonder
My children are beginning on my last nerve. Come to this, come to that. That's it. That's
I miss the old Quidditch contests. Muggles have made life hard for us. More than the fame, it's an unearned reputation, if you ask me. The Minister for Magic didn't get where he is by sitting on his hands. Oh, I'm working. Working on not working. I get on working as a referee for professional Quidditch matches. Is it only? My mother's family comes from just outside Quidditch. Never trust a man who looks too smart. That's what my mother always said. I'd rather scrape cauldrons than work with monkeys. Wingardium Leviosa makes light work, I always say. Not a day goes by I don't do something I didn't learn at Hogwarts. Expelliarmus can disarm a dark wizard, no doubt. But then, fleeing? anyone to